On Sunday, supporters of the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute warmed up their bodies for the Mother's Day Walk for Peace, reflecting on what it means to be a mother after losing a child to gun violence and how we can put an end to the toxic cycle affecting our communities.
In order to achieve peace with young people, we have to provide them with jobs and things to keep them off the streets, to keep them engaged. We have programs at the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, at Dee Dee's Cry, to keep young people engaged. We must support them over the summer and give them things to do and let them know that Boston is a positive and peaceful place to live in.
Walkers covered just over 4 miles starting in Dorchester's Townfield Park. They carried photos and banners of loved ones taken too soon. Data from Boston police show Black men are primarily the victims of gun violence, which is concentrated in Dorchester, Jamaica Plain, Mattapan, and Roxbury.
Gun violence represents a leading cause of death. It's a public health crisis in our country, and yet we don't teach about it in med school or graduate school. And it's the #1 cause of death for young people in our country under the age of 18, leading cause of death year after year for Black men and young boys in our country. And we're losing our loved ones, losing our youth, and we have to turn this around. And it's up to all of us, not just healthcare providers, not just people in the Peace Institute, but all of us need to do something and speak up and take action.
So I think what we got to change out here is, fathers being involved. For me, that's starting at home, being in the lives of these young men out here. They need men, like real men, that are here to guide them the right way, not to keep them away from wanting to be part of the in crowd, doing the wrong things, being on social media, following what you see, being a follower. We need fathers out here. Fathers need to stop getting locked up and be out here for their sons, because when their sons see them locked up, then a lot of times they think that they want to follow in those footsteps, and we don't want to recreate that.
The Institute works directly with the young and vulnerable people of Boston and their families to decrease rates of violence and cultivate cycles of peace within their communities. The walk is in its 28th year and the largest fundraising event to grow and sustain services, advocacy, and training for the Institute.
In order to address the issue of the ongoing violence, we must invest in prevention. And so the young people, again, I will invite you, you'll see them around here. Ask them the question. They are now considered, and they're claiming the title of Generation Peace. They are not the future, they are the present. When they become the future, then they become us, the adults. So they are cultivating cycles of peace.
It's definitely our responsibility as this generation to take control of the narrative and to make sure that we are creating the peaceful communities that we want. And it's also the generations that came before us who we inherited a lot of this mess. And so it really is up to all generations to make sure that the world that we want to create.
State and city leaders advocated for peace throughout Boston and honored the lives that inspired the Mother's Day Walk.
Look, we're all here because we walk for our loved ones. We walk for our neighbors. We walk for Louis and Stephen and Drayshawn and all those whose spirits are illuminating the path to peace in Boston. Peace, as we have been taught by Chaplain Clementina and her entire team, peace is a foundation for everything else. Peace is a foundation for joy. Peace is a foundation for growth. Peace is a foundation for belonging. And so when we come together, we put one foot in front of the other to build the city that we know is possible and that our community deserves.
So when I say the work of community is possible when we build it, that peace is possible when we work for it, when we invest in it, when you pray, move your feet. You are moving your feet for healing. You are moving your feet for justice. You are moving your feet for community. As the mayor said, a sense of belonging that we all need and we all deserve.
The Louis D. Brown Peace Institute plans to raise $600,000 by Father's Day on June 16th to support families of gun violence victims. Although their stories are different, their motivations are the same: end the cycle of pain.